I'm Dr. Tara, and this is Hopeful Hints, a podcast where you'll receive quick, hopeful hints on all things women's health and infertility. Here, you will find education, inspiration, and most importantly, find peace and empowerment as you walk through the next steps in your healthcare journey. Welcome to Hopeful Hints. I'm Dr. Tara, and this is my amazing husband, who I am forcing pretty heavily right now to do this with me. But I'm doing this for good reason. Well, we're on vacation, so we wanted to, check out the background here, which is not appearing if you're watching on YouTube very well. But there was a lot that happened during my surgery and after surgery that I felt could have been handled better had we been aware or prepared to make decisions and conversations. Anyhow, so we're going to share our top tips for caretakers. That's what this episode is. Now, everyone's caretaker might not be a spouse, right? Some of you might be young, and it's your mom, your dad, your grandma, your best friend. Who knows? Whomever it may be, this episode's for you. So the first question, and we're going to really wing this today, but
I didn't prepare at all.
yeah, this is me just off the cuff with him, okay? I'm just like, just sit down. We're going to just record this. And the best podcasts are usually just natural like this. But when did I pack before surgery? Do you remember how last minute I was with packing?
I mean, I feel like that's every trip we go on.
And this trip was much better. I was like days before, but I was in such denial that I waited till the night before we flew out. And I also didn't book any of our airline, or rental car, or our Airbnb until weeks before. So tip number one is if you have to travel, I was in denial, but you need to book 6 weeks minimum, if not 3 months in advance, because we paid way more for airline.
Yeah, I mean, it's always, if you're planning on doing any kind of traveling, obviously, prior booking will save you lots of money. I mean, typically, I'm sure these surgeries are booking out months. Try to get a place. The biggest things I noticed were with the place that, like, you're going to be in a hotel, or we stayed in like this condo, but it was on 2 different levels. And walking upstairs is like not really a thing that you would want to do after a surgery. So some place that's all on one level, some place that has maybe a large couch, because getting in a bed was like practically impossible, just because of like all the abdominal type, stuff that they're doing in these surgeries.
And then we lost power. So we were on the 3rd floor of a condo and almost in an elevator when it happened. I think it was like right before you started laundry, and your laundry got trapped in the dryer. So it's weird things like that you have no control or can't even plan for. And we had no power to cook. It was hours. It was over 4 hours. And we decided at that point we're going to go stay in a hotel.
Yeah, we were supposed to fly out the next day, and we just, all these like little unforeseen things, but the airport from where we were staying was like 40 miles away. So kind of, I don't know, just being able to, probably be near the airport so you can rest longer. You're not having to like sit in a car for extended time. Sit in, airport flying is really not even comfortable when you're feeling good. So, I mean, just trying to cut down on all that like time you would be in a car traveling, like in the airport. Like, and then another thing, when we got to the airport, Tara tried to like huff it out and like walk. And I'm like, no, just get in a wheelchair and I'll push you. I mean, don't try to be a hero. Make your caretaker carry everything for you, push you in wheelchair. Security will accommodate you with a wheelchair through there. It goes pretty seamlessly, except for they act like you're smuggling drugs. So it is odd. They'll make you like get out of the chair, and then they inspect the chair, even though it's the airport's chair. I mean, it's very, very odd. But
just plan for extra security time, even if you have TSA pre-check, which we had. It still took. They made me sit in that wheelchair and waiting forever for someone to come and inspect that. So that was, make sure you have
bags that are easy for someone else to carry or just not excessive. Don't pack excessive. You don't need much for this. And I'll share my packing tips too. But don't be a hero. Let someone else push you too. Yeah. There's no way. There's no way I could have walked when I tried. And then when we got to like the Minneapolis airport, we just got one of those cart people to drive.
Yeah, they have the kind of the concierge
Yeah.
people that do the
Like the
golf
carts.
carts
Yeah.
that can take you from, say you land at gate 90 and you got to go to gate. I think we literally had to go from like one end of the terminal to the other, like
Yeah.
gate 90 to gate 5.
Yeah.
So I would just try to get those people to employ their services for you. So it just make everything easier on getting around because the discomfort's going to be a lot for the first couple weeks minimum.
My other airport tip is carry an ice pack that you can refill with ice cubes and go to the bar. So any bar will refill your like ice bag for you because you're going to want to have that thing full constantly of ice and then pre-medicate. Like I get motion sick, so I kept my scopolamine patch on and had a Zofran, took my pain meds right as we were getting to the airport so that I'd be medicated as I traveled. Now, for those of you that are traveling via car, my biggest tip for you is get a car air mattress or a tent air mattress that you can put in the back of like your SUV or a car so you can lay down because that seat reclining back is not enough. Some of my worst pain was from sitting too long in that position. I had to lay flat. So make your car bring extra pillows so you can prop yourself up as well. Bring a pillow because if you have to cough or sneeze, it hurts so bad. You need to like brace your abdomen area. So whether you're traveling, plane, or car, you're going to want to have extra pillows with for that too. So that sucked. So ice, pillows, pain meds, medicate, have someone push you. The other big thing that I wanted him on for to share with was if you're this is probably more in the reproductive age of life. I haven't had many teens or young girls, if any. I can't think of any that I'm trying to think of where this has become an issue. But my endometriosis surgery was scheduled for an hour and 15 minutes, and it ended up taking 3 hours. But that was because once he got in there, it was so much worse. And we wanted to, obviously, we're trying to, as we speak, trying to have children. And my right tube and my right ovary were so bad. So in the middle of surgery, I'm going to let you how the conversation went down because you thought I was dying. But you have to have some conversations with your spouse or significant other if you are going into the surgery and you're in the reproductive years, because a conversation might look a little like this.
Yeah, I mean, there was like at the surgery center we were at, there's like a board. They had a code for, each patient. Tara's was whatever, some specific code. So you could they would update in this phase, pre and then during surgery and then post recovery. There's like two stages of recovery or something. So I thought, they kind of give you, as you're in the pre-surgery prep, they give you kind of a rundown of how long everything. I mean, I'm already kind of an impatient person. So I'm like, oh man, it was really kind of a while, And then whatever, eventually I do get a call from a surgeon, like bad news. And I'm like, oh, the worst words you want to hear, because your mind instantly goes to like, oh, did they like do something wrong during the surgery or whatever? But it wasn't anything that severe. It was more, just kind of making a decision on do they do the more extensive route or do you stay more conservative with the surgery, and I'm like, I don't know enough about this type of, female reproductive health to like really make this decision. So I'm like, I'm going to err on the side of they could always do another surgery because once you remove body parts, you can't get them back. So yeah, since we hadn't had the conversation, I'm like, yeah, I'm probably going to make the conservative decision because it's not life threatening to just go ahead and, go the conservative route, keep the tube, and then proceed with the surgery, how they were going to initially.
And as of date, I did have an HSG, which we do at my clinic in the most advanced technology way. We use a product that has little to no pain and is super advanced. But my tubes were open afterwards. Now, that's not to say that it's going to create issues as I go. We are doing as we speak, an IVF consultation in a month. So that he did state that there's a chance that they're going to want that tube removed before doing a transfer. So we'll just see. I've had no pain, no problems with it. I don't have any pain on that side. Again, the tube's open. We just did an IUI and there was not follicle growth of much on that right side. It was more left, but I don't know. I think he made the absolute best decision. I'm glad we kept it because I was not prepared for coming out without a tube, let alone thank an ovary. But that just goes to show how bad things can be in there. But mind you, my diagnosis was unexplained infertility when I really had stage 4 endo and adenomyosis. So let's talk about we get home. Well, first of all, he warned us that emotions will be all over the place. And I was like, no, I'm not an emotional person. That I'll be good. Like I deal well. I don't feel like I'm fortunate. I don't have PMDD. I don't feel real big hormone swings. I mean, sometimes obviously, yes, but like I don't have that to be a big issue. And he's like, oh, Dr. Duke was like, you're going to like post-surgery, hormones shift. I also was very stubborn and tried to tough out the pain. So as Chance said earlier, please don't try to be a hero. But the caretaker is really going to have to help watch the stool softener and the pain management timeline because you'll fall asleep or, something like that too and not take it. But what would you have to say? Because at one point you had to shove a pill in my mouth, like quite literally shoved a pain pill.
Yeah, I would say for the first at least couple weeks,
Yeah.
a lot of people, I feel like the narrative of, I mean, I'm not a doctor, but the narrative of this opioid addiction has gotten pretty out of hand in the last, decade or so. I would say it's been very sensationalized for obvious reasons. There's like an epidemic all over the world with stuff, but if you're having a legitimate surgery and your doctor prescribes you these pills, I mean, they're not going to prescribe you enough to get addicted anyway. And don't think that, oh my God, I can't take a doctor prescribed pill, I
Right.
mean, for a couple weeks. So,
Right. Your doctor's going
know,
to prescribe you based on your history, your background, what's best for you. And likely from other surgeries, I knew, for example, don't give me hydrocodone. I react awful to those due to my gallbladder surgery and bunion surgery. Yes, you think I'm 80. Like, I just knew that I couldn't have those. So pre-op, my surgeon and I made a decision what's best. The average individual is not going to have issues taking their prescribed opioid medication. You're going to need it. Now, if you do have that as an issue or in your past, again, you and your surgeon are going to make a decision and a plan beforehand for how to best control the pain. Do not try to ride this out. With that comes stool softener. He literally, what did he say? Like, don't blow my butthole out or something. Remember that? Because I had
I
like
don't
a
remember for sure.
3 nodule that was removed, full of endo, like huge endo nodule removed. And it was very important that we're talking poop on this because that's what we do, but soft because there was a chance I could have ruptured that area where that surgery was done. But in general, if you are taking pain medications, you have a very high chance of being constipated. So I think it's important for the caretaker too to make sure that you're staying on top of softeners or food or dietary adjustments that are needed to help with that too.
Yeah, I mean, anytime, I guess this is just probably from personal experience. Anytime you're in a lot of pain, you're probably not going to be having like adequate fluid intake. So just like pain meds on top of, you're not really consuming a lot of fluids properly. So just keeping up on that. The
Refilling my
stool
cup. Refilling my
softener,
cup a lot.
eating foods that are, highly digestible. I mean, don't be eating like nuts,
Yeah.
something, because another thing I noticed, like Tara was extremely nauseous for like quite a while. So I would just have something ready to go that's highly digestible, easy to eat, soft,
Yeah.
like that you're not having full of seasonings or something that's going to upset your stomach. You want things that are just like easy on you, like crackers, toast, I mean, I think we did like noodle type thing, just like stuff that's very easy to make, easy to eat, like applesauce type things. You could do like rice, probably, I suppose, if that.
We went shopping when we ate there too, and we
Right.
made sure, like, if you're in a hotel room, like, do you have a fridge? Do you have a microwave? They can usually add those things for you if you don't have them. And then when you get home, make sure you have stuff ready for when you get home because it's just going to be more of an inconvenience to go shopping once you get home versus if you plan and prep all this stuff beforehand too.
I mean, there are lots of services now if you live in,
Yeah.
any type of decent sized city where Walmart, Target do delivery, that whole Instacart. Those are
Mhm.
nice options.
Those
And don't
options.
try to like shop yourself. Obviously, it's gonna not go well.
What? Speaking of,
Um,
let's talk about walking. Remember how I started walking too soon, too far? That was
yeah,
a
yeah.
thing.
So, you know, I think it was the day of the surgery
Oh yeah.
or whatever. We went on this walk. I mean, it was nice out. It was June, but yeah, it seemed like Tara wanted to quote unquote be a hero and
It was kind of
and overdo it. I'd probably like, maybe do baby steps. They didn't have to give her like a lot of anesthesia to breathe
which will concentrate you
longer.
in yourself. Yeah.
So
As
I
soon as you will
mean,
concentrate.
each surgery is probably gonna vary so much from that
Yes,
aspect. So
it does.
if your surgery is shorter, maybe a lot of this doesn't even apply. It's like, wow, it really wasn't that bad for me, but yours is more advanced.
Yeah.
I would definitely expect longer recovery time, way more discomfort,
Yeah. Take more time off
and
work too.
probably just take it easy, like set achievable, like manageable goals. Don't try to like do anything over the top for the first month,
Yeah.
like minimum.
So then the first week I went walking way too far because I don't know. I thought I felt fine and I had to have him almost literally go get the vehicle and pick me up because the pain came back. Then you start spotting. So if you start spotting when bleeding had stopped, let's say post surgery, you had some bleeding, it stopped completely. You start moving, whether it's walking or just moving or lifting too fast, too soon, spotting will be one of the first signs that you're overdoing it. Listen to your body. Like you're not going to run back into your fitness routine quick. Like you're going to have to give your body some time. I know it was only, as I'm air quoting, if you're watching this, a laparoscopic procedure, but this is a very big, extensive laparoscopic procedure. This is not a little thing. Yes, it depends how much they find remove. A lot of you have fibroids. If you have fibroids, extensive recovery. It's just going to be longer than the average procedure. So you're not going to really know until you have this procedure done what the outcome is. Some of you might bounce back in 2 weeks and be fine, but that's why I'm doing this because I thought that was going to be me and it was not me at all. Take more time off work. I ran back into work way too fast, had to reschedule people. I've talked about this in previous episodes. You can always go back sooner versus me crying in the shower at 10 p.m. because I have to reschedule patients and like feel awful about it. Like your work better be understanding. There's just, you don't know again until you come out of it. It's going to be easier to go back sooner than it's going to be to take off longer. Your place of work can plan better too if you take longer off and come back sooner. Travel, packing of things. Anything else, tips for packing that you can think of the ice packs, the pillows, the get a ride, stool softener stuff. We did a lot of teas too. We kind of
Right.
packed some teas and more natural things.
Really, the only thing that like comes to my mind is so we stayed in a hotel near the airport the last
Yeah.
night, and the bed, a lot of
Awful.
them they're kind of like high up because they're on like a box spring, and then they have the base underneath it. I would try to find something where it's like lower to the
Mhm.
ground, be like a
Mhm.
handicap accessible room. I think agree, like
Yeah.
lower to the ground. They can get, they have the showers that are walk-in. It's not like a tub or something that you're having to like lift your leg over. Sounds so small, but
It was
it's like big,
awful.
big thing. Those little tiny things definitely are
Mm,
kind of the biggest hurdles, it seems like.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just if it's summertime and you can sit outside in the sun,
Side.
just try to relax, get that vitamin D, whatever. Don't try to push yourself, just that manageable goals. And, as like the caretaker, I don't know. I guess I've really never had to be too much of a caretaker for a surgery, but I don't know. I guess I always feel pretty empathetic because I've had surgeries before, and the recovery. I mean, just the littlest things that they really make a huge impact, so
Yeah.
just be
Be
I
empathetic
don't
as a
know. Yeah,
caregiver.
be empathetic and be willing to do whatever it takes. only temporary. Not like they're gonna be like this forever. So
Yeah, you're gonna have to step up around the house more or hire it out. Like hire the house cleaner to come or yeah, have things delivered or have some other family member or friend step in if you have to go back to work as a caretaker or you can't have ask for help. Ask for people to come in and help do things too, I think.
right, and then like another thing, don't try to be. I know they say weight restrictions and stuff. Don't try to lift,
Right.
because you could set yourself back, injure yourself, tear
Yeah.
whatever, where they made the incision. Just try to minimize all that kind of activity. Keep it very light and manageable.
What were your thoughts like when I was like, oh, I'm gonna have this surgery? Let's talk about endometriosis. When I first was like telling you how I think I remember your reaction. You're like, okay, this is not normal for women like to have this heavy or painful as a period. Like you were like, this is not okay. What's going on? Yep, have the surgery. Like you were pretty supportive from day one. But like, what might be some advice you have if there's a spouse or a mom even or a father or someone who's just not that supportive? Like, really, you need this surgery? Like, really?
I don't know, re-examine your syphilis. I don't know. I mean, as a guy, it's hard to like really, oh my gosh, it's like, how do you know what they're really going through? Because
I've gone through it. Yeah.
ever have those problems. So yeah, think of probably the worst pain you've ever been in and multiply, I mean,
Thank you.
you know what I mean? It's as a guy, I don't know. You probably will never experience type of pain,
Just believe and
but
trust
yeah,
them.
just be supportive. And obviously, well, I mean, people aren't going to make stuff.
No,
You have this type of
don't
pain,
gas.
just be there for them. The healthcare system is, you know, very odd. It might take a while to like even come to this because if you're going to, some of these big name healthcare systems where they're like, oh, hey, it's just this or whatever, you've probably been told this is normal or something. That's probably going to be like your biggest thing. It's like, oh, finally you found somebody that actually believes that you have an actual issue and it's not like, oh, you're making it up. The big name healthcare systems and their doctors, they just want to get you in and out, prescribe you a pill, and then make you go away. You know, when you find providers that believe you, that's only the first step. And then you're probably going to do a lot of further testing and different stuff like that. So it's going to be appointments and lots of different things. But I mean, it's just part of the process.
Yeah, for sure. And just being supportive of that. And some of you have been through a lot already and are just getting to this point, perhaps. But I think keeping in mind that there is very few people, honestly, at this point who understand endometriosis. And so it probably has taken you a while to get to this point and just making sure that you're with an excision specialist and someone understands that the decision for surgery is only one that you can make as the patient of when it's best for you. So having just a caretaker that supports it and maybe due to job or life or whatever, your surgery date might revolve around that. I know that happens with a lot of my patients too. If their spouse has a job where there's seasonal work or it's busier during a season, or your job itself too. I know a lot of teachers will do it in the summer. Just know it's okay to hold off till then so you can have the best recovery for you. You're not worried about work or deadlines or same with your significant other too. So
Right. I mean, obviously, finances,
yeah. Oh
surgery,
yeah.
medical stuff is expensive. It's easy to get caught up in you can't afford it, but it's like, can you really afford to keep feeling like this? Or if you're trying to have kids, it's like, I mean, it is like a heavy financial burden for most people, but you gotta take care of yourself when you need to take care of yourself. Jobs will always be there.
And a lot of you are
You just have
suffering
to.
day to day with symptoms. A lot of my patients do. The surgery's worth it. You deserve to feel good every day. And if you have a significant other, a mom, even a dad, someone watching this that has seen you struggle, there is life on the other side of this. A lot, if not all, the symptoms will go away or get better, or you'll know what the cause is once and for all, too, of causing that. So, and it's not an easy decision to go forward with surgery. And the emotional support that goes along with that decision is so important too. What's your number one tip for a community?
I don't know if they're short tempered or upset, don't take it personally. It's really just part of the recovery. It's
Yeah.
not like they could be symptoms from the surgery
Yeah.
or medication effects or whatever. It's not like they're taking it out on you. It's just they're not feeling well. And when anybody doesn't feel well, they're going to be overly emotional just because, most people don't have chronic health problems and they want to feel better. So definitely be, just extra, I guess, loving in the weeks following the surgery. I mean, it's after, like, I would say a month, things will improve dramatically, and you can do anything for a month, believe me. But
I forgot to have your questions like set out ahead of time too in a notepad or in your phone as a caretaker. Like your questions might be different than the patient's, but they're just as valid. So having those questions ready for the surgeon in your consultation or the pre-op appointment is really important too. No question's a silly question or off limits. Those surgeons are ready to answer anything. So don't hold back on asking them those questions too.
also, here's my one big piece of advice that it's probably mostly out of your control, but if you can get your surgery right away in the morning, fast beforehand, it's probably going to be ideal because otherwise you'll be sitting there starving and you'll come. So there's conjuring.
Yeah.
Because you're fasting for surgeries. If you can get it to, you're the first or second person in line for surgery that day, that's going to be a nice benefit for you.
Most, yeah, it is.
And then, you'll get home, or I guess wherever you're staying, not necessarily home, by mid-afternoon, so you can rest.
And don't let travel be the thing stopping you from surgery, especially for excision surgery, for endometriosis. The top surgeons, you're going to have to travel, especially if you live in the Midwest. I know we have people watching this from all over the world. In fact, my surgeon, we did the very first podcast we did together, Dr. Adam Du, he has someone coming from Dubai from watching that. So like travel, it is really important. You're going to have to travel. So take the time to plan it. Get insurance on it if you have to. I got insurance on our rental car, our Airbnb, our airline tickets, just in case the surgery date changed or something came up, or I don't know what I thought was going to happen, but I got insurance on all of that stuff. It's worth it in case something does change or come up, but just don't let travel prevent you from having it.
And then maybe another thing, if this is financially feasible and you can make it work with your job, maybe travel to the location where you're getting the surgery a couple days beforehand.
Yeah.
You can get a familiarity with the lay of where everything's at. Here's the surgery center. Maybe go drive by it so you're not panicking, like, we got to be there, tomorrow morning, and we don't really know where it is because, you're not from the area. You can get it kind of a feel of where things are at, like, here's a grocery store here, whatever. I mean, and there is always Google Maps, but it isn't perfect. I, do a lot of traveling around for work, and I've been led to some pretty crazy areas, just looking for somebody's house. So
We also got a massage before too. So I tell my patient, take a day. Yeah.
anything you can do to relax,
Yeah.
it's stressful.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's a very big thing getting a surgery of any kind. There's lots of medical anxiety that before any kind of a procedure. So anything you can do to stay relaxed.
Go
and
treat yourself
just,
to a nice meal. Yeah. We did a massage. I have had patients go golfing or do an activity that they enjoy, go hiking, depending where you're going, of course. Go do something just to take your mind off of it before and enjoy. I always tell my fertility patients that travel too is make a trip out of it. Do the same for excision surgery. Make a little trip, even if it's 1 day or 8 hours, to do something fun before you have this done too, and just enjoy the area that you're going. It's been a long 6 months of recovery and fertility. And again, I tell my fertility patients, I know it's not all of you listening to this, but you have to take time as a couple and do things that you enjoy together, or just traveling, and just rekindle that relationship and always keep communication strong. Like, they may not fully understand what you're going through, but if you communicate that and understand their feelings and emotions too, super important. And just, make sure to message me. You guys know I'm an open book. I'm happy to share anything. So thanks, honey, for doing this.
do that.
Thanks for listening.